Have you ever caught yourself rambling on about something only to see the other person's eyes glaze over? Or maybe you felt the need to clarify every little detail just to make sure you're understood. Over-explaining is something many people do, often without even realizing it. It comes from a good place, wanting to be clear, helpful, or even just to connect, but it can sometimes have the opposite effect, making conversations feel exhausting instead of engaging. One big reason people over-explain is anxiety. When you care about how you're perceived, it's easy to think, did I say that right? What if they misunderstand? That little voice in your head pushes you to keep adding more details, just in case. But the truth is, most people understand things more quickly than we give them credit for. Adding more words doesn't always add clarity. In fact, too much explanation can drown the main point, making it harder for the listener to grasp what really matters. Another reason is wanting to be helpful. It feels good to share knowledge, especially when you think someone might need extra context. But sometimes the other person already knows what you're explaining, or they don't need all the background details to get the point. It's like offering a 5-course meal when all they wanted was a snack. Too much information can actually make things more confusing instead of clearer. And then there's the fear of silence. Some people over-explain because they're uncomfortable with pauses in conversation. A quiet moment can feel like an invitation to keep talking, to fill the space with words, even if they aren't really needed. But pauses aren't bad. They give people a chance to process what's been said, to respond, and to have a real back and forth exchange instead of a one-sided lecture. So how do you stop over-explaining? Before we continue, could you please hit the like button? The first step is to notice when you're doing it. Pay attention to moments when you feel the urge to keep adding details. Ask yourself, have I already made my point? Does the other person really need more information? If you've answered the question, you don't need to keep answering it again in different ways. Another trick is to trust your listener. People are more capable of understanding than we often assume. Instead of preemptively explaining everything, try saying less and letting them ask if they need more details. If someone wants clarification, they'll ask, and that's when you know your explanation is actually wanted, not just something you're offering out of habit. Another really good technique is to practice pausing. When you make a statement, let it sit. Give the other person a chance to respond before you rush in with more details. A good conversation is like a game of catch. You throw the ball and then wait for the other person to throw it back. If you keep throwing balls without waiting, the other person won't get a chance to play. Finally, remind yourself that it's okay not to be perfectly understood all the time. People don't need every detail to get the gist of what you're saying, and real understanding often comes from interaction, not just from hearing a long-winded explanation. At the heart of it, don't be tough on yourself because over-explaining is just a sign of wanting to connect and be understood. But ironically, it can sometimes put distance between people instead. The best conversations happen when we trust that what we say is enough and that listening is just as important as speaking. If you like this content and would like to learn more about human behavior and relationships, consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you.